A few hours ago, I was given this video produced by Anton Daniels. And the name of that video says, "Man immediately divorces his newlywed wife after she refuses to give up the box." So me, I'm very interested in such topics. So of course we have to press play.
Rachel from Sydney, shortest relationship, Rach?
I was married for not even 24 hours before my husband wanted a divorce, and we separated 2 weeks later.
Whoa. What happened, Rachel?
The night of the wedding, we went out, and when we got back to the hotel room, unfortunately, I didn't give him what he wanted.
What was what?
He wanted
Which is sex?
Yes.
How long had you been together, and had you had sex before the wedding night?
Yes, we're already together, and everything was like that. We were tired. I didn't want to, and then the next day, he wanted a divorce.
What a revolting man. Also, because I've heard a lot of people don't have sex on wedding nights because you're so tired. It's like a 17-hour day, and you're
drinking,
drunk,
and you're drunk,
and you're full, and you've had a fun day.
Cake and
Absolutely. So he said, "This is the reason why you're not having sex with me. Therefore, we are getting divorced."
Yes. It was miserable. Like, we just couldn't wait.
Wow. I'm sorry, Rachel. What an awful, disgusting man.
No bloody riz.
He's got no riz.
No riz. No riz at all, Rachel. I don't understand. If you're having sex, you should have sex a lot before, after. Men are
revolting. We're learning, boys.
Yeah, we're learning.
Now, what I will do is I will leave Anton Daniels' video in the description to get his pull on it. But I'd like to speak about this from my own vantage point. Now, of course, I have never been married or participated in a wedding myself in which I was the one, getting married. But I have been in my brother's wedding, and actually, he was married twice, stopped the show. So I participated in both weddings, and I can remember how draining it was on those days. It was very long. Takes a long time to participate in the ceremonies, a lot of standing, a lot of eating, a lot of drinking, a lot of partying, a lot of drunk people and things like that. And it would make sense to me that, on that particular wedding night, that this man doesn't, or this woman doesn't want to have sex because of being, let's say tired or sleepy or what have you. So it would make sense, because I never thought about it that way. But, in my mind, just looking at weddings, I would believe that. But I do want to play this 21 Studios clip interviewing Anthony Johnson and Andrew Tate. And I want you to hear Andrew Tate's version of this.
What we need is a submissive woman, a dominant man, great sex, and find each other physically attractive.
And a lot of sex.
Yeah. And make some stupid jokes and have a good time. Done. We don't have to sit there and like the same crap.
There's a saying, others too, that sex is the glue of a relationship.
Absolutely.
Less glue you have, well, there you go. It falls apart.
As soon as your woman won't sleep with you, you may as well just leave.
Yeah.
You literally, if your woman's saying,
exactly.
I'm not, just leave.
Yeah.
And leave with some honor.
I have the exact same opinion. Bye.
Because otherwise you're waiting for her to cheat.
Yeah.
And on top of that, while you're waiting for her to cheat, if you talk to another woman, you're the worst guy in the world.
Well, it sounds super unhealthy too. Who the wants to be in a relationship where you're not all the time? That sounds like incredibly stupid.
It's pointless.
Yeah.
And what's actually a healthy sexual dynamic, because men have to do all the work, is the man should be saying no.
Yeah.
My girl wants sex nonstop. She isn't gonna do anything. I'm the dude who's like, shh.
And so what you're saying there is that men should be the leaders of the sexual component of the relationship.
Men should be the leader of everything.
Yeah.
I can't think of any socio-dynamic, I can't think of any business dynamic, I can't think of any dynamic on earth that's better with a female in charge.
Yep.
So let me, discuss this if I can, all right? I have been one time in a situation where, a young lady didn't want to, have sex. It wasn't very long. After doing it, I think I've interviewed Dr. Siasan Johnson. He was in a very similar situation for almost 7 years. And so it would lead to me to believe that this woman is missing some context. I would love to talk to this guy. And what I can believe is that no man would go through the situation of getting married and then wanting to automatically get divorced if these problems were not happening before. And that's something that we got to put into context now. Why he went on ahead with it, I don't know. And I think that most people believe that because they get married, it will change things. And I just don't believe that's the case. Like you ever hear women say, sad music, oh, you know what? I will give you wifey treatment and after you become my husband. And that's a lie. Whatever they're going to do before they get married, they're going to do after. And I think that for most men, when we're called upon to do a work, especially with women, here's what I honestly believe. I believe that men are typically those men we're servants in relationships. Whether we want to agree with that or not, I believe that is pretty much the role of a lot of men. Whenever we are called upon to do something, whenever women have problems or whenever communities have problems, men are always trying to be available to meet those problems, no matter how you feel like. A lot of times being a man in a relationship, you're doing things, you're sacrificing almost all the time when you don't feel like it. And a lot of that is to make other people happy. Almost ask any guy, and most guys can agree with this. If you ever seen women who are rich or wealthy, it tends to be very different from a man who is, I would say, rich or wealthy. Those tend to be different circumstances. When I see women who have a lot of money, maybe they may take care of their kids or their immediate, things like that. And that's pretty much it. And it's a lot of money, I would say, more or less spent on themselves. But men, when they have money, they have the tendency to look out more for the community of people. They tend to look out for more of a group of people, trying to make things better and trying to take care of people and solve problems for a lot of people, although it tends to backfire on them. So as men, we're called upon to do things when we don't feel like it. The problem is that men are also looking for parity from women, and parity or reciprocity. And when you don't get it, it's really offensive to a lot of guys. Okay. So basically, if I'm doing something for you and I don't feel like it, but you won't do something for me when you don't feel like it, this is not parity now. Okay. This is just almost like being linear. And, and a lot of guys have a lot of disdain for that, because again, men are always expected to do things even when there's a disparity or an imparity, not parity, a disparity. And a lot of times guys get tired of a disparity. Now you heard what Andrew Tate says. If a woman doesn't want to have sex with you, you need to get rid of her equally, because what's going to probably happen is she's probably having sex with somebody else. And if she isn't having sex with somebody else, she's probably on her way to doing so. Now, again, that's her description of it. It's hard for me to believe that any man would give up his wife that fast over one night. It seems this has been a problem, and what he thought that getting married would change it. And once she decided that she still didn't want to do it, it probably was a tipping point. And again, you're the guy who's always being consistent. I know guys who've been in sexless marriages and they're still paying the mortgage. They're still taking care of their wife. Sometimes it doesn't even have anything to do with them. Their wife can tell you something like, I've gained a lot of weight, so I don't feel comfortable in my body. Or then they'll come and they'll tell you something about, I would like to go to counseling or something like that. And of course, that never really works because the counselor favors her. So at some point when you're reaching that, it's pretty much just, look, you need to just go. I need to go. Because the situation is this: the next guy that she's going to be dealing with, she's not going to need no counselor. Her coochie is going to work just fine for the next guy. And that's probably what the guy already came to that conclusion. I'm tired of you. I don't want to have any problems with you in the future. I would rather get rid of you because you're just so much of a problem. I went through with this and I was thinking about this before, but I just want you gone. And a lot of ladies don't know how many guys want them just gone. And they feel like nothing can change. And once you get to that point where I believe you feel like you're giving parity, somebody won't give it to you, I believe also that's when you make it a disparity. I think that it's a big problem, especially if you're thinking about something that you want from a person. If you're giving them something that they won't give you, it doesn't make sense to keep them around. They need to go. This is something that needs to happen. A lot of men need to keep exercising this right. Get them out of there. Quick, fast, and hurry. They need to go. Now, as far as just, divorcing them on the first night of the marriage or not, that doesn't seem like any guy who is, normal would do that. If your woman is tired, I think that most men understand that, right? But it seems like she's not telling the entire story. And you see the host there, she's, talking about how bad men are and all this stuff. But guys, what do you think? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. For all you do, scream the bell. We're out.